Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. So today I'm going to give you a bit of an update on our house hunting journey, just to let you guys know where we're currently at, and also to talk about two factors that I don't think I've put enough emphasis on when talking about the whole house purchase journey. So let's get into it. Right, so in terms of an update on our house hunt journey, we've actually found the house that we wanted. We've placed an offer. Actually got it for 10k below the asking price, so that is great. I've actually got a video talking about how to negotiate on the asking price for properties, so if you want to find out a bit more about that, you can just click here. Right, so the property that we've actually ended up getting, or on the way to getting, it basically fits all of our specs, all the things that we wanted, down to having an extra toilet in the house, having lots of storage and all those kind of things, having a good sized kitchen, having an additional sort of lounge area or conservatory. We've been able to get that all in this house, so that is great news. So at this point, I just want to call out to you guys that when you are going out on house viewings, you want to have a list of your specs and your requirements, so that when you go out and see all these different houses that may look beautiful to you, you don't get carried away and forget that you have certain specs that you do need to meet. So definitely have a list with you when you go on these viewings. That is the way to stay out of trouble and make sure you're not putting yourself in trouble in terms of getting a place that is not suitable for your needs and your requirements. So in terms of progress on this house purchase, we're actually looking at exchanging and completing within the next 4 weeks. That's pretty soon, isn't it? And the only reason is because we've got an excellent solicitor on the case. Okay, he's efficient, he's prompt, he's doing everything that he needs to and keeping us in the loop. Well, when I say us, my dad, because my dad's the one dealing with the whole house purchase. But yeah, the solicitor has been great. Right, so I'm just going to take a moment to elaborate on the importance of having a good, efficient solicitor. Previously, when we're looking at getting a different house, we actually had another solicitor in place, and that person was just rubbish. Like, in the space of like 3 months, I think he'd sent my dad only about 2 or 3 emails, had not even kicked off the property searches and reports that you need to do on a property. They basically hadn't done anything in a 2-month period. How terrible was that? You'd expect to be completing and exchanging within 2 months, but actually with that solicitor, they hadn't done anything. So a bit of a backstory to this other property that we're previously looking at. So there was another property that we'd seen around December, January times, and my dad had placed an offer and things looked to be going quite well, and then COVID-19 obviously kicked in. But the fact of the matter is that COVID-19 should not have affected the progress that we're making on that property, because it was actually a vacant property. Now, the only reason it was delayed and we weren't able to do much is because the solicitors were moving so slow. They were not doing anything. Now, fast forward to where we currently are with this new solicitor, with this new property that we're looking at, things are going so great. Even in terms of picking up from where the previous solicitor had left things, the new solicitors are doing so good. Like, they've managed to do so much more in the space of 3 weeks than what the old solicitor had done in 2 months' time. Not forgetting the fact that now that we're looking at a different property, the whole exchange and completion process should be done within 4 weeks' time. That just goes to show how efficient they have been, and also how important it is to get a good solicitor, someone who knows what they're doing and somebody that will act promptly and efficiently with your case, because you don't want to be wasting time with something like a house purchase. Okay, you've also got a mortgage to think about, the fact that your mortgage offer lasts maybe like 2 or 3 months, so you don't want to be in a position whereby you're not even able to meet that period because you've got a solicitor that's just not on the case properly. Right, so what is my observation and takeaway in terms of these 2 solicitors that we've had experience with? My observation is the fact that the first solicitor that my dad was using, we didn't have any experience of him. We didn't know of anybody that had used him. My dad found him online, I believe. Maybe from one of these comparison sites, I don't know. And so my lesson learned is that basically you do not want to go ahead with any solicitor unless they have been referred to you by somebody else, whether that be a friend, a family member, or somebody else that you are aware of that has used a solicitor in purchasing a property. Right, so let's elaborate a little bit more on the role of a solicitor and how you can get in contact with one. First of all, I believe that solicitors do the bulk of the work in terms of purchasing a property. They'll do all your searches, they'll do the exchanges of monies, that's transferring your deposit to the seller, they'll deal with all the liaisons between the seller, their solicitors, and also the estate agents involved. They'll deal with all the contracts and agreements and documentation, a whole load of stuff they'll deal with, not forgetting land registry stuff as well. So as you can see, it's a lot. This is why it's so important that you get somebody that's going to be competent at doing a job and deal with it promptly. Okay, you don't want your house purchase delayed because of somebody that is sluggish or doesn't know what they are doing. Right, so as I briefly mentioned previously, in terms of finding a good solicitor, you definitely want to do it based on referral. The money that you spend on a solicitor is significant. Okay, you don't just want to be throwing your money into the bin. That's why you need to take the time to find a good solicitor, somebody that has been used by somebody else that you know of, a friend, family member, colleague, just anybody who you can get a good referral from. This is so important. Do not just pick up a random solicitor from anywhere. You don't know what their work is like. You don't know whether they're going to be sloppy and mess about with your case, and you don't want that. And I just want to say that although a good solicitor may be more expensive, it's also worthwhile, because a house purchase is probably the biggest purchase that you're going to make in your life. So it's worthwhile doing it properly. That is, making sure you've got a good team of people around you that are going to help you execute this thing properly, and make sure that you don't get yourself in any trouble or delay the whole progress of the purchase. Right, so surveyors, an area that I don't actually think I've covered in my videos, and not in any detail anyway. But yeah, let's talk about surveyors and the need of having a property survey. Right, so it's easy to get a mortgage valuation mixed up with a property survey. A mortgage valuation is basically something that is handled most times by your mortgage lender, so it may be thrown into your mortgage package or product, and basically it's just a check that the property that you're buying is worth the amount of money that they put it up for. That is, the property is worth the value that it's been sold for. That's it. Right, so a property survey is a more independent inspection. Basically, it's a detailed inspection of the property's condition, okay? So they'll do checks on the property in terms of structural problems, trying to see if there's any issues with roofs, walls, just structural components of the property, essentially. They basically tell you about any defects with the property or any potential risks. Right, so the cost of surveys can range from anywhere between £300, which is your most basic report, which is called a condition report. And basically all they do is check for any structural issues and highlight that to you. They don't give any advice or recommendation in terms of fixing it or resolving the problems. The higher end of surveys can look like something like £900 plus, and that depends on the level of detail that the survey goes into, as well as the actual value of the property. So those kind of surveys are a bit more intrusive, I believe, and they will also offer advice on things that you can do to repair it, the costs associated with that, as well as timings also. Right, so one thing I do want to call out at this point is that surveys are not mandatory. They're not something that you have to do, and because of the fact that they may get a bit pricey, some people may want to avoid doing them. But I would just like to say that that is not a good idea. A house purchase is probably the most expensive thing that you're going to buy in your lifetime, so why would you not want to do it properly? Spending a few £100s on a survey to make sure that the property that you're going to buy is not going to lead to bigger problems in the future or give you bigger, more expensive problems to deal with is so worth it. You can choose to avoid these problems or basically get a discount on the property that you're buying if you know that the problem is going to be significant enough for you to spend loads of money to repair. For example, let's say you got a property survey on a property and the results show that the property had a problem with the roof, and you have to fix the roof in the near future, and that work is going to cost you around £15,000. So at this point you can decide that actually no, you're no longer interested in purchasing the property, or two, you can go back to the seller and tell them that you'd like to renegotiate on the price because you're aware that it's going to cost you £15,000 to fix the roof, and therefore you'd like to take that off the asking price for the property. Alternatively, you could also ask them to fix it before you're able to buy it from them. So you see how it works in your favour and actually helps you out. So coming back to our situation, the house we were previously looking at, my dad had done a survey on the house and it came back with some negative things in the survey report. So there was things like signs of movement, yes, like the house has actually moved. There was also an issue whereby there was some digging in the basement and it wasn't flat, so basically it's like they dug up quite a bit of the foundation in the property. Why is that? We didn't know. But the results of the survey informed us that actually this was likely due to underpinning of the foundation, which is a process of essentially trying to strengthen the foundation because the original foundation is no longer stable or strong enough. So you can see how that's a big problem in itself. We also found from the results of the survey that basically the material used for the roof wasn't the greatest, and there was also signs of leakage within the property. So all these things are not good signs, and some of these things we wouldn't have been aware of if we hadn't done the survey. So guys, hopefully you can see based on what I've told you how important it is to have a property survey done on a house that you're looking to purchase, okay? It's a big investment, so you want to proceed with this very cautiously. You don't want to get yourself in trouble just because you were too hasty in getting a house and you wanted to avoid certain costs. It's just not worth it. Yes, these private surveys can be expensive and they're not mandatory, but I do urge you, please get a survey on a property that you are interested in purchasing, okay? It could save you a lot of trouble down the line. As I mentioned before, it could be a renegotiating factor to help you get money off the property. It could also be the factor that helps you determine that you're no longer going to go ahead with purchasing a property, okay? Either way, I believe it's a win. And for £300, or starting off at £300, is not bad at all. It's not money thrown down the drain. So guys, that brings me to the end of this week's video. I do hope you found this useful. I do hope you now see the importance of having a good solicitor in place when you're going to purchase a property, as well as having a survey done on the property itself, okay? These two factors are very important, which is why I'm trying to place as much emphasis as I can. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. Please do also let me know down in the comments if there's anything you feel that I wasn't clear enough about or I spoke too quickly on. I've been told that I speak very quickly, I just can't help it. But anyway, please do let me know if you need any clarification on anything in the comments, and I'll make sure that I do that for you. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.